Hello, dear students, this is Жанна Бугибаевна, and welcome to my lesson. Today we are going to talk about modal verbs, exactly should, must, and have to. So in this video, we are going to talk about usage, the formulation, and examples of these three modal verbs. If you're ready, let's start. Should and must are real modal verbs, and therefore, like all modal verbs, they are always followed by the infinitive without to. Should do, must do. They all are the same for all these pronouns. I should, he should, it should, etc. They do not need auxiliaries. They take direct negative question forms. I shouldn't, should not, we must not, mustn't, should I, must we. They never combine with another modal verb. You should can. We say you should be able to. Instead of he will must, you have to say he will have to. Have to is a semi-modal verb. It's like a modal verb because it fulfills a specific function, but it behaves like an ordinary verb on its formulation. It's followed by the infinitive without to. Have to do. It is conjugated according to pronouns. I have to, he has to, etc. It needs auxiliaries. It doesn't take direct negative and question forms. I don't have to. She doesn't have to. Do I have to? Does she have to? And finally, it can combine with modal verbs. You will have to. He might have to. Let's have a look at usage of should. The first usage should is expressing an opinion or giving advice or asking for advice. Let's look at some examples. I believe nurses should have higher salaries. You look tired. I think you should have some rest. He shouldn't make a rushed decision. Do you think we should phone her? What should I say when I speak to him? Second usage of should, expressing an expectation. For example, he should arrive any minute. He shouldn't be long now. He should have arrived by now. And the third usage of should, expressing a regret about a past action. For example, you should have been more careful. I shouldn't have said that. Note, ought to is a synonym for should. It generally sounds more formal than should and less commonly used, particularly in the question form. So you could to have some rest. He oughtn't to make a rash decision. I oughtn't to have said that. But it couldn't be uncommon to say ought with to phone her. Not to. Should, but not ought to, is also used to express a small possibility. For example, if I should ever go back there, I will not make the same mistake again. Or, should you need any further assistance, do not hesitate to contact me. This is a common formal writing. Let's move on to must. The first usage is expressing a necessity felt by the speaker. We use must in the present or in the future tense. For example, he is very ill. You must call a doctor now. We must not or mustn't lose the match tomorrow, or we will be out of the tournament. This is the best book I've ever read. You must read it too. You mustn't hesitate to call me if you need help. Looking at the second usage of must, it's expressing a prohibition, once again in the present or in the future tenses. You must not use your mobile devices during takeoff. You must not be late for your interview tomorrow. And the third usage of must is assumption in the present or past, in affirmative sentences only. For example, you must be tired after your very long day. He must have read my letter because he repeated exactly what I had written. Okay, let's have a look at the have to. The first usage is expressing an external obligation in a positive sentences. For example, you have to make an appointment to see him. She has failed her exam, she has to retake it. Second usage, expressing a necessity or obligation in the past. He was very ill. She had to call the doctor immediately. He was very busy. I had to make an appointment to see him. Moving to the third usage of have to, it is removing a necessity or obligation in the present, past, or in future tense. For example, he feels much better now. You don't have to call a doctor. I didn't have to make an appointment to see him. She passed her exam. She won't have to retake it. Note, as you can see, the main difference between must and have to is that must is a necessity felt by the speaker, whereas have to is an external obligation or rule. If this difference is not relevant, you can use must and have to interchangeably in positive sentences. However, be careful that in the negative must not is still a necessity or an obligation not to do something, a prohibition, whereas don't have to removes the necessity or obligation. As must has no past tense, both obligation and necessity are expressed with had to in the past. Note 3. Need to is a soft alternative to both must and have to. I must or need to finish this tonight because I want to take tomorrow off. I have to or need to finish this tonight. My deadline is tomorrow. Do I need to finish this tonight? I don't need to finish this tonight. You may also come across the modal verb need. It is not a very common modal verb and can only be used in negative sentences and questions. You may hear, do I need to finish this? Need I finish this? Or instead of I don't need to finish this, you may hear, I need finish this. So let's turn to the gap filling exercises. Have you had your exam results? Yes, I failed biology. I will retake it in August. I have to, need to. You use have to or need to. Oh, sorry, you be pretty upset. What about physics? You must be pretty upset. I have passed that, but with a very low mark. My teacher thinks I retake that too. My teacher thinks I should or ought to retake that too. Do you think you retake it? Do you think you should or ought to retake it? No, I strongly feel that I focus on biology. I strongly feel that I must or need to focus on biology. I failed that one. I mustn't fail that one. I get it at least in biology to study medicine at university. I have to or need to get at least a B in biology to study medicine. Did you fail biology last year as well? No, I passed it last year. I have passed it this year too. I should or ought to have passed it this year too. I just didn't study enough. You have studied enough. You always do. You must have studied enough. You always do. The exam have been difficult. The exam must have been difficult. No, the exam wasn't difficult. I was too tired. I have partied the night before. I shouldn't have partied the night before. I have studied instead. I should or ought to have studied instead. Oh, I see. Well, you are good at biology. You be able to pass it in August. You should or ought to be able to pass it in August. I hope so. I will find a job as well. My dad insists. I will have to find a summer job as well. Or you can use need to. Did you have a summer job last year? No, I didn't work last summer. I didn't have to work last summer or need to. I had some savings then. What happened to your savings? I buy a car because my flat was too far from the college. I had to buy a car. Well, good luck with your retake. You let me know how it went. You must let me know how it went. I think you enjoyed it. Thank you. See you.